Whether people are religious or not, almost everybody pours out love, admiration, devotion, the willingness to serve and make sacrifices for somebody or something. And that, of course, is worship. The object of a man's worship may be a football team, it may be a pop singer, a film star, or TV personality. In fact, it may be anybody who has skill or strength or talent beyond his own. And that calls forth feelings of worship. Now, whatever we worship is bound to make a great difference to the sort of people we are. Our whole character and outlook is molded not by what we profess to worship, but by what we do in fact worship. And therefore we must be very honest with ourselves about it. The chief enemies of Jesus Christ, for example, were ostensibly worshipping God. But in fact, as Jesus continually told them, they were in fact worshipping things like power and privilege, position, wealth and success. And it's because worshipping the wrong things produces the wrong kind of people that Jesus spoke so sternly. It's very important then for those of us who want to worship the true God that we should see something of his true greatness. Now, modern man doesn't, I believe, worship the living God very much. Now, that's partly because he's seduced and blinded by the gods of this modern age: success, prestige, glamour, money, power, security. Such things loom so large in his reading and thinking, yes, and even in his listening and his viewing, that he's become spiritually short-sighted. Now, apart from this, many people today find it difficult to have a conception of God which they can honestly worship. Now, I've talked with a good many people who don't believe in God or who've given up their faith in him. In most cases, I find what's happened is that such people have thrown overboard childish ideas of God, and they never found anything else to take their place. Now, of course, it's very common for adolescents who are working their way from dependence towards independence to rebel against authority. And this is very often the time when the childish faith is thrown overboard, along with everything else that reminds people of childhood. But I think it's a tragedy if, after rejecting the childish, young people fail to discover a God great enough to command their grown-up worship and love. We don't expect the ideas and loyalties of childhood in any other department of life to have the same significance once we've grown up. And yet, to hear some people talk, you'd think that in advocating faith in God, we were recommending a return to childhood. The truth is exactly the opposite. What we're trying to do is to get people to throw away the childish and the inadequate, to look away beyond the distractions and false values of this world, and to rediscover the living God. Now, I've become more and more convinced that if we are to find a personal God, we must accept his plan focusing of himself in the man Jesus Christ. If we don't do this,